What's up, guys? I've got a new update on the auto battler game I've been making in Godot. So I decided to completely scratch the old auto battler project I was working on because I've after working as a game developer in Godot for my full-time job for the past year, I learned so much about Godot that the old code and the old systems that I set up just weren't really worth keeping compared to what I can do now. And so I'm just going to start it from scratch this time, and I'm going to do it a lot cleaner. I'm going to do it right, and this time I'm going to take you guys into the code with me. So if you're interested in learning about Godot or maybe even making an auto battler game yourself, then this is going to be a really good series for you. So far, I've mainly been focusing on setting up the playing board. And the playing board is just going to be how you interact with the store to buy units, how you put units into your lineup, and basically just how you interact with the game. Um, so let me show you what I have so far. We got a main menu here, doesn't really do too much. And then this is the playing board. It's pretty simple right now. I'm kind of just focusing on getting all the mechanics working before I add any artwork or anything too complicated. I'm just getting all the mechanics working. So far you can buy units out of the store. This is the store. This is your lineup. So the units that are going to be fighting for you, and then this is your bench where you can store units. You can buy units like this, and then if you get 3 of the same unit, they combine together like that to make a more powerful unit. Okay, so let me show you how I got some of that working. The game is going to be the root node of everything. It's going to be responsible for adding all the different players into the game. All it has right now is a start menu, which is eventually going to have some more settings on it, but right now it's just a play button. Um, Here's what it does. Start adds all the players into the game, and then this right here allows you to press a different key so that you can go to the different players, or so that you can move your camera to the different players that are in the game. So when the game starts, it creates a few of these player objects, and each player object is just a player in the game. And that's going to have how much coins that player has, which units that player owns, and stuff like that. So right now, the main things that the player is responsible for is if you buy a unit, it checks if you can merge and then merges it if you have 2 other of the same unit. And then it checks if you have the right amount of coins, and then it decreases the amount of coins you have if you buy it. Here's the code for checking if it can merge, and then here's the code for actually merging it. And all merging it means is that it deletes the 2 other units that are the same and then levels up the first unit. So the way that we are moving units between positions is with these spots. The spot is just a button and then a 2D position. Um, so when you click on a spot, depending on if the spot currently has a unit, all the stuff is up here. It has a unit, it has a player, and it has a type. So if the spot currently has a unit, if the player is currently holding a unit, and then if the spot is a store spot or a bench or lineup spot, it's going to do something different. So it's either going to have the player buy the unit, so this would be it's in the store and the player is not holding something, so the player is going to then buy the unit. If it's on the bench and the player is not holding something, it's going to make the player grab the unit so that you can move it around somewhere else. And then if the player is holding something, that means that whatever the player's holding is going to be put into this spot. And this fill method is important too, because this is how the spots add a unit to themselves. And whenever you add a unit to a spot, you also want to remove the unit from the previous spot it was in. So it's going to add the unit to itself. It's going to remove the unit from whatever spot the unit was previously in, and then it's going to set the unit's position to itself. The last thing we're going to get into is the units. So these are the things that are actually going to be fighting, and they've got stats here like level, HP, attack, and when you create it, the store is the thing that creates it. But when you create it, it sets all of these different attributes like HP, attack, ID, and then here's what it does when it levels up. It just increases the HP, the attack. It's got some particles here. That's what it does whenever it levels up. And the way that these are set up is through the store. So let me show you the store. So whenever you refresh the store, it's gonna randomly pick a unit out of our unit library, and I'll show you that in a second. And then it's going to set it up based on the information from that unit in the unit library, and it's going to set up some of these other variables. So the store is setting up the unit every time you refresh it with four new units, and then adding them to the spots that are in the store. So the unit library is in our global variable, which I made a singleton. So that means it's just gonna, everything is always gonna be able to see the global variable. So anything that needs to access this unit library is gonna be able to access this. And then it's just gonna contain the information about the base unit, so that whenever it creates a new unit of this type, it's gonna know exactly what to give it. So that pretty much covers it for this video. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that you want me to go into more detail about, and I'll talk about it in the next video. But for now, see you next time.